Hi, this is Jim from Safety Wars. Before we start the program, I want to make sure everyone understands that we often talk OSHA and EPA citations, along with some other regulatory actions from other agencies, legal cases, and criminal activity. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Proposed fines are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
And from the border of liberty and prosperity in the highway to the north, this is Safety Wars for Tuesday, February 4th. Yes, we got the date right. 2025. Now, the other day, I don't know what happened. Dates. Mixed up. But anyway, I think that was last night. But how's everybody doing? We got some comments on our program last night where someone wanted me to go over again that NOSHA bill. Or no OSHA. Hold on, I'm making sure I'm on the air. It's Safety FM. Okay, we're there. So, if you're wondering, if you're watching this was recorded earlier at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Live broadcast on Safety FM. We are going to be downloading this and editing this a little bit before we put it onto the video. Because for whatever reason, it does not like my music. None of these channels. So we're going to try something different. Maybe you don't like my music. It sets the mood for the program. A lot going on. People wanted me to do a redo on there's a no OSHA thing going on. So as a refresher to everyone here, pull everything up. All right. There is, and I did a little bit of, again, more context. So let's go through a little bit of history here. Several years ago, and last night I went through specific examples in Arizona. I said, something ain't right here. Because what would normally be a serious violation on the federal level, they were putting down as other and $0 citations. And and it occurred to me during the middle of the program, as I was going through that, I said, son of a gun, weren't they the ones who were having their OSHA, right? They have a state OSHA. Weren't they the ones that were, going to have a revocation of their state OSHA, and the federal government was going to take it over again? And sure, and that's pretty much what it was. So I'm going to start here with a press release from February 14th, 2023. Here, and let's see if we could get the screen share up. Yeah, there we go. U.S. Department of Labor announces plan to withdraw proposal to reconsider and revoke Arizona's OSHA plan's final approval. So the U.S. Department of Labor today announced that its Occupational Safety and Health Administration, this is from February 14th, Happy Valentine's Day there, 2023, will withdraw its proposal to reconsider and revoke final approval of Arizona's state plan for occupational safety and health. By doing so, will leave the state plans in place. The announcement follows OSHA's publication of Federal Register notice on April 21st, 2022, that proposed reconsideration revocation because of, by the Arizona state plan's nearly decade-long pattern of failures to adopt adequate maximum penalty levels occupational safety and health standards, national emphasis programs, and the COVID-19 healthcare emergency temporary standard. OSHA accepted public comments on the revocation of proposal through July 5th, 2022. On that day, Arizona submitted a public comment advising OSHA that the state's plan had completed significant actions to address the concerns of OSHA identified in the original Federal Register notice. The actions made by the Arizona State Plan include adopting outstanding federal standards and directives, enacting state laws to ensure that Arizona's future maximum minimum penalty levels track with OSHA federal levels, and authorizing adoption of an emergency temporary standard when either OSHA or the Industrial Commission of Arizona determines that grave danger criteria are met. So it goes on, with that. And here, let's click on this. And if you're interested, there's the original federal OSHA notice. So that's the context. And I went through a lot of cases last night, maybe too much, so that went into, talked about it. I was like, man, this doesn't sound right. Now, we also have Congressman Biggs here. More context into this, right? Context drives behavior. And let's see if I can get this to show up. Oh, yeah, I put together a little bit of a spreadsheet here. All right, and we're going to be talking about these other websites that you see up here in a minute. So he is a congressman from Arizona's 5th District. He's been elected official for many years, one level or another. So Congressman Biggs is a Republican, and these were the results of his elections. So in 2016, he was elected. That means 2017 he came on. That's when he started talking about this repeal the No OSHA Act here, and nullify OSHA is what is NOSHA. And here we have 16 and 45, 59 and 54. He basically won overwhelmingly in all of his elections here running for this. Now, last month, he's announced that he's running for governor of Arizona. So now, he's the head of this committee that this has been remanded to, which is the House Education and Workforce Committee. Right? That's what we're looking at here. And here's the bill. H.R. 86, the 119th Congress, first session, introduced the first day of Congress to abolish the Occupational Safety and Health Administration and for other purposes. And it is a bill to abolish the OSHA and for other purposes. This act may be cited as the Nullify OSHA Safety and Health Administration Act, or the NOSHA Act. The Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970 is repealed. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration is abolished, just in case you didn't get the first part of that. With that, so where does it stand? This is his district, right, southeast of Scottsdale, Arizona, and Gilbert seems to be the major city there. And it's been referred to the House Committee on Education and Workforce. Nothing is introduced. No, it may or may not get acted on with that, right? And as of last Friday, nothing happened to it, right? That's when it was referred over to the committee. And there's his website. And hold on, let me go back here. Hate to be jumping around like this. All right. So right now we had the great one, Jay Allen. Right. He sent this over to me this morning. And this is from the lawandcrime.com. Lawmaker introduces bill to demolish workplace safety agency, slams bloated federal government. Arizona Representative Andy Biggs, Representative Arizona, introduced a bill Monday. When was this from? Right? That would abolish OSHA and the federal agency task. Again, it was the first, right? In the statement Monday, Biggs rallied against the half-century-old OSHA, calling it yet another example of the federal government creating agencies to address issues that are more appropriately handled by state governments and private employers. Arizona and every other state has the constitutional right to establish and implement their own health and safety measures is more than capable of doing so. Well, apparently they really have to be nudged. Sorry, Congressman. And it's time that we fight back against the bloated federal government and eliminate agencies that should never have been established in the first place. I will not let OSHA push Arizona around with their bureaucratic regulations and urge my colleagues to support my effort to eliminate this unconstitutional federal agency. And again, the article goes on now with some of the context with this here, and here it is. No, he is a Trump supporter, but he has declared, my understanding is declared candidacy. So is this again, is this again something that we grandstanding to get on that right now? This is what I'm going to do. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has a lot of really good information here. And I was hanging out on their website today here, and let's share a screen here. Hold on. All right. So here we have the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. And they have all different types of stuff that have to come out. That comes out every month, basically. And they collect all different kinds of data on labor stuff. Now, when I found out, I went digging around here, and it has information on wages. And I'm going to call for this, a different way of measuring things. I'm not an economist per se. I'm just a simple policy analyst, and I'm my education. And you know everything else I do. And the idea is to give people easy things that they can relate to. So one of the things is, I've always felt that we're measuring debt. We're measuring things and communicating it, right? So, for example, you hear about billions, right? Millions of dollars. This government agency wasted $1 million. This government agency wasted $1 billion. And I think that we need to describe things and what people can relate to. People can't really, even most people cannot relate to $1 million or 10 million, or right? But what can people more easily relate to? I'm going to call it a man year. I'm sure I'm not the first one to call it that. I may be called something else. A man year. And I am basing it off the Bureau of Labor Statistics monthly average wage guide, right? Their wage figures right now. So right now we're looking at the Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics is looking at the average 2024 average earnings of non-supervisory, non-farm worker wages at $30.62 a year. An hour. What does that come out to? Weekly 1,224.8. Annually is 63,689.60. Right? And the number of hours here. Here we got it here. I don't have my document camera up, but there we go. So the annual wages at 636.89 hours, 2,080 hours. That would mean for $1 million in government revenue, and this is actually more because we're assuming that they tax you 100%, roughly about 50%. So you can double this number. 1 man year is man year of work is equivalent to $1 million is equal to 15.7 man years. So when you see the government, and you can do this on your own personal thing, right? Because you know how much you make. If you don't, you should, because you got taxes coming up very shortly. So it's man years is what I would go by. So for when the government says that they wasted $1 million, think that you would have had to work 15.7 years to make that $1 million. Now, does that put that into perspective a little bit more? And if you're talking $1 billion, right, you're looking at 15.701 man years, 15,701 man years. That means that you're going to have 15,701 people working for 1 year to make up that $1 billion. And that's all that they do. Want to make it $1 trillion? Now you have, multiply that, move it over. You have one for 15,000, 1.5 million people working for a full year. My numbers are right here. For a full year. Way it is. We're talking a lot of money here, folks. So when you hear these numbers thrown around, remember what the guy on the internet and the radio said. Here, right? Don't think of it as dollars. Think of it as how much work would I have to do to make up that amount. And it's the same thing. You want to do it on your local for property taxes and stuff. Think of it as how many households in my town are there, and how much would property taxes have to go up for everything, or the other taxes you might pay to break even on that. Puts it into a little bit of perspective, I think, because a little bit more people, I think, would relate how many years that they would have to work. And it also equates it to almost like slave labor. Dare I say that? Slave labor. With that. And that's your money or our money, right? And people are pissing it away with government waste. While agencies that do a lot of good, like OSHA, right, protecting workers, it's like their budgets are begging for money all the time. We know that they're understaffed. We know that they're undermanned. We don't have enough people working there. And, the productivity, if you worked with a lot of these agencies in the actual field, you just say, So, for example, I had to make a delivery back in the day to OSHA Region 2 in New York City. I'm sorry, EPA Region 2 office in New York City. Beautiful. And I walk in there. And it's like I'm walking into St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome. I mean, Rome, Italy, not Rome, that means Vatican City, not Rome, Georgia. Opulence. You go in there, and I had to wait for 2.5 hours to make a document delivery. Why? Why do you think? Any guess? They were having a retirement party, and the person I had to handle it off to didn't have the time to come out or send someone out to sign for the document for 2.5 hours. How about back in the day on the hazardous waste sites when I used to be doing a lot of hazardous waste site stuff? You want to talk about waste? You want to talk about, right? We had this, and I think I shared this one time. We had a EPA oversight person who sat in, and this is way back in the day where nobody had internet yet, right? Internet was just coming out, and on the satellite radio they had, and you would be able to get a portable satellite radio. And Howard Stern had just gotten put on satellite radio, and rest assured, they went out and got for the office trailer satellite radio, so the oversight person could sit there from when he got there. Howard Stern went on those days about 6 a.m. until 11 a.m. when he would get off the air, and that was when he came out for lunch. After listening, hey, you should have heard Howard Stern today, blah, 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 blah. And then, oh, what's going on? They write it in their little tiny notebook. They're right in the rain notebook. And they go out back in 10, 12 hours. In the days we were working, they were back in there, and they might come out once or twice to look around. This is what oversight people did. What went on in the office, I have no idea. I know you have that one example. But looking into where our dollars are going and running these health and safety agencies, I don't think it's an unreasonable thing here. I really don't. With that. And I know that I know I'm going to hear, there are good people. Yeah, there are good people everywhere. But this is what happens. The good people are often disincentivized, like in all organizations, from correcting these situations like this. And this is the impression that a lot of people have of these agencies. And I'm not going to tell you, I don't think it's probably very accurate there, but this is the impression that they have. So that, coupled with the December report from Congress on the COVID-19 after action report, were correctly identified, in my opinion, loss of confidence in public institutions in general, healthcare and specifically, they may be onto something here. Now, the question has to be, right now, enough about Jim, complaining and being ornery here. The solution has got to be for the administration, whether it's Trump or whoever comes after Trump, because right now we're in a huge disruption here. How are we going to get credibility back for these organizations? I don't think that that's a very unreasonable question. How are you? Now, here's another question for you, since we're dealing with safety professionals here. How are you, Mr. and Miss Safety Professional, out in the field? What are you going to do to gain credibility? Because I tell you what, I think we had to use a lot of capital here with the COVID-19 and some of the other programs that are out there. Are we going to continue to go out and use 25-year-old safety programs that are baloney, 30-year programs that are baloney, and we know that they are? We're talking the zero accident sign. We're talking about the way behavior-based safety is implemented. Shame, blame, and retrain the employee. We're at that goal to zero, and all the other stuff that we were told to believe. Or are we going to be coming into context, right? Realizing error rates, human and organizational performance, responding to emergencies properly, responding to events properly, finding out the context, learning how to do the job. All that stuff goes into human organizational performance here with this, right? So this is traditional safety. Workers are blamed for safety issues. Safety failures are attributed to poor individual choices. Safety is defined as the absence of incidents rather than the presence of capacity and controls and resilience. There is reliance on individual heroism. In other words, there are bad actors. And number 5, there are bad actors. All right, so what do we have with human organizational performance? Workers are incentivized to work safely through the systems designed by management. Management takes greater responsibility by setting up effective systems and leading by example. Safety is defined as the presence of controls and safeguards. Safety is seen as resilience and capacity of a system to adapt to challenges, perform safely. Systems are designed to be as fail-proof as possible. Workers are chosen carefully, focusing on qualifications and capability within or with safety culture. Hire the right people. How many times are we we have to deal with in the construction industry where you get someone out of the union hall, if it's a union project, and you get what you get? Same thing happens in federal government and state government. I have conversations with all different types of people in the school district where they know that they hired teachers that may not be qualified, don't want to even be there, or they're there for a couple of years and they're burnt out. But no one says anything. You have, and then on the other hand, right, that's one side of the story. The other side of the story, how many of those students actually want to be there, especially in the lower performing school districts? We have one situation where a mile away from here, one town over, where the school district, and you can look it up, East Ramapo School District, all the shenanigans going on over there, who pays the price to children. And what's the defense of the shenanigans? Well, they're whoever. They're lower income people. They have the problems because they don't have a home life. Right? Or right, and all that's the other side of it. Rather than patience and understanding and trying to work with people, get along with people, inspire. Big one, inspire people, show some leadership. We're just going to write these people off. So what are the 5, I digress, 5 principles of HOP. Human error is normal. Blame fixes nothing. Learning is vital. Context drives behavior. Right? And how you respond to failure matters. How you respond to failure matters. That all goes along with human organizational performance on that. So we're going to take a break. We're going to line up our next story here, and we'll go from there.
Safety Wars is streaming now.
SafetyFM.com.
Caught in a whirlwind, trapped but it's fine. Regulation love keeps our air pure and divine. Blindfolded by trust, we're in compliance. Heartbeats synchronized in perfect alliance. We laugh through these masks, blending our air. Oxygen of affection flowing, we dare. No need to escape when love's our confined space. Each inhale a promise, no need to chase. Breathe with me in this safe embrace. Regulated love in every space. We're certified to face every storm.
have you listened or watched the Safety War Show? It does stream live on the radio and on the streamer-emers that we have. So if you have not taken a listen to Jim Posel and what the hell he's doing every evening with Safety Wars, I would strongly encourage you to take a view or take a listen, whichever option is available for you, and take a listen to what the hell he has going on. It will take some deep dives in some information that you might be interested in.
Okay, we are back. Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that is designed to actually address and assess your hazards and liabilities and is not standardized baloney from generations ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call me, Jim Posel, at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you are receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces. All right, we're going to go through some press releases here, right, from this and orders. So we had, let's get the software back up here. So we have Secretary Doug Burgum signs first round of secretary orders to unleash American energy. This is from the Department of Interior website. Secretary Doug Burgum signs first round of secretary orders to unleash American energy and begins tenure as the 50th Secretary of the Interior by setting vision for American energy dominance. So you would think the Department of Energy would be like really here and well, but I guess the Interior Department, I guess Department of Energy is part of Department of Interior, whatever it is, but they work together no matter what. So today, Doug Burgum officially began his tenure, blah, 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 advancing American energy independence. Key priorities. 1. Addressing the national energy emergency. So this was the signing of the Presidential National Emergency Declaration. Interior will immediately undertake 2 efforts to address our nation's inadequate energy supply and protect against this active threat to the national and economic security of the American people here. First, Interior will immediately identify all emergency legal authorities available to facilitate ID, permitting, leasing, and development, production, transportation, refining, and everything dealing with energy resources, right? Second, the department will identify all emergency and other legal authorities available to expedite the completion of all authorized and appropriate infrastructure, energy, environmental, and natural resources project. Number 2, unleashing American energy with this. And going here, what are we going to do with that? Encourage energy exploration and production on federal lands and waters, including the outer continental shelf, establishing our position as leading producer and processor of non-fuel minerals, including rare earth metal minerals, which will create jobs and prosperity to strengthen supply chains for the U.S. and its allies, and reduce the global influence of malign and adversarial states. Must be written by AI, folks. Protecting the U.S.'s economic and national security and military preparedness by ensuring that an abundant supply of reliable energy is readily accessible. Ensuring that all regulatory requirements related to energy are grounded in clearly applicable law. Ensuring that global effects of rule, regulation, and action shall, whenever be evaluated, whenever evaluated, be reported separately from its domestic costs and benefits in order to promote sound regulatory decision-making and prioritizing the interests of the American people. So, for example, when they do a cost-benefit analysis, you're going to have global costs and domestic costs because it's a pro-American agenda as they see it. Guaranteeing that all executive departments and agencies provide opportunity for public comment and rigorous peer-reviewed scientific analysis, and ensure that no federal funding is employed in a manner contrary to the principles set out above unless required by law. Number 3, delivering emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis. With this, right, the order initiates department-wide review of all programs and regulations that are unnecessarily causing higher living costs for hardworking American families to identify and recommend future actions to lower costs. And number 4, announcing President Trump's revocation of former Outer Continental Shelf withdrawals that were put into place by the previous administration. Right, and to achieving prosperity through deregulation. Right, and the executive order unleashing prosperity through deregulation. The goal is to reduce red tape, enhance national security, and improve the quality of life for U.S. citizens. Interior will eliminate at least 10 existing regulations for every new one introduced, and ensure that the costs of new regulations are offset by removing the costs of previous ones. All of the departments, bureaus, and offices are tasked with streamlining financial management and reducing unnecessary regulatory burdens. So here's my question. OSHA falls under the same thing. What law regulations would you get rid of? Something to think about. Maybe there are ways that everybody sees, everybody's experience is different. Perhaps rather than bitch and complain, we actually maybe become part of the solution with what we got to work with. Remember, I said it last week and I'll say it again. We're not going to be able to regulate ourselves to working safely. With that, we can't do it. You have to rely on. You have to rely on. Personal accountability. Companies out there doing the right thing all the time. That's what you have to rely on. Right? OSHA is the minimum. It's not the maximum. If your company say, I've had companies say this already, and hard to manage when they say, if it's not in the OSHA regulation manual, we ain't doing it. Then you come out with all the court cases that say that, right, just because it's not in the regulation doesn't mean that it's necessarily safe. People are still getting hurt. You're still causing a problem here under the general duty clause or I forget which case it was that said that OSHA is the intent is preventative, not reactionary. What do we concentrate on? Reactionary. Unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. So that's basically what the Department of Interior, Doug Bergman, the new secretary, has said. Here we have EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announces EPA is powering the Great American Comeback Initiative, and he announces 5 pillars. Clean air, land, and water for every American. Restore American energy dominance. Pillar 3, permitting reform, cooperative federalism, and cross-agency partnership. Any business that wants to invest in America should be able to do so without having to face years-long, uncertain, and costly permitting processes that deter them from doing business in our country in the first place. It will be important for the EPA to work with our partners at the state and federal levels to ensure projects are being approved and companies can invest millions of dollars into our nation. Streamlining these processes while partnering with businesses to follow steps necessary to safeguard our environment will incentivize investment into our economy and create American jobs. Pillar 4, make the United States the artificial intelligence capital of the world. A couple of generations ago, they had artificial intelligence meant something else, right? It means they're smarter than what you are. As we rapidly advance into this new age of AI, it's important that the United States lead the world in this field. Those looking to invest in and develop AI should be able to do so in the U.S. while we work to ensure data centers and related facilities can be powered and operated in a clean manner with American-made energy. Under President Trump's leadership, I have no doubt that we will become the AI capital of the world. Pillar number 5, protecting and bringing back American auto jobs. Our American auto industry is hurting because of the burdensome policies of the past. Under President Trump, we will bring back American auto jobs and invest in domestic manufacturing to revitalize a quintessential American industry. We will partner with leaders to streamline and develop smart regulations that will allow for American workers to lead the great comeback of the auto industry, said Administrator Zeldin. So that's from the EPA today. With that. Now, last night, I did not have a chance to listen to the fire commissioners over there. Right, one call in. If anybody has anything with that, please let us know. However, as of the beginning of this program, just before this program, nothing in the papers, nothing on the wires on the fire commissioners. So let me get this straight with this. All right. You just had these fires in California. Whole neighborhoods gone. Acknowledged screw-ups so far by people in charge. Not setting up the system, not maintaining the system, not allocating the resources necessary for the firefighters to do their thing. And we could go on and on with Chief Crowley, whether or not she's right or not. I think she's probably pretty right. All this stuff going on, and the legislators that were appointed to oversee this stuff, silence. No public notification except for this program, Safety FM, on Safety Wars, on the meeting that took place this morning or was supposed to take place this morning. Maybe it didn't. Nothing. No notice of cancellation. Nothing. Nada. We're still covering for these people, huh? We're still covering for them. Really. I'm not saying, and like a human organizational performance, blame fixes nothing. But transparency. What about transparency? Transparency goes a long way in building back that trust that we were talking about.
You are listening to Safety Wars. Tomorrow's Safety Today.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
In a world where danger lurks in every corner, one man stands as a beacon of hope. Jim Posel, a veteran safety expert with over 3 decades of experience, now bringing his knowledge to you with Safety Wars. Engaging, informative, and always relevant. That's Safety Wars. Join the safety revolution with Safety Wars, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos.
And we are back. All right. Now, we usually at this point talk about whatever we have left over for the day. is basically what it comes down to. Now, Department of Labor and Senate Republicans, and this is from a week ago, Senate Republicans cast a wary eye on Trump's nominee for Labor Secretary. A number of Senate Republicans have problems with President Donald Trump's nominee for Labor Secretary, former Representative Lori Chavez de Remer from Oregon, citing pro-union stances she has taken in the past that clash with the business community. I am not going to support her, Senator Rand Paul, senior member of the committee that will oversee her nomination, told NBC News on Monday. I am the national spokesman and lead author of the Right to Work bill. Her support for the PRO Act, which would not only suppose the national right to work, but would preempt state law on right to work, I think it's not a good thing. And no. And it'd be sort of hard for you since it's a big issue for me to support her, so I won't support her. I think she'll lose 15 Republicans, Paul added, while predicting she would win some Democrats because she's very pro-labor with this. And no, they're just Senator Rand Paul. So here we have, and this is from today, from Law360.com, articles by Bradford Kelly and Lorenzo Raboni. And on the OSHA front, right, the the nominee is Keith Sonderling, a former commissioner of the U.S. EEOC Commission, and he did work with the Department of Labor, apparently, before. His pick for Deputy Secretary of Labor, U.S. Department of Labor, right? So the head of OSHA is the Deputy Secretary of Labor. This is a significant appointment, and what are they looking at? And the long and short of it, we talked about this about 2 weeks ago. Sonderling is right. They're thinking it's going to be like the classic Sheldon Primus example. And check out his last program, The Safety Consultant. He goes into this, where they're going to be giving a lot of guidance. So, no, if things go like they did at the EEOC, to avoid prosecutions and everything and civil judgments and everything else, would be to go and issue a lot of opinion letters. That's good for this program. If that happens, that's great for this program because I'll just be out there reading opinion letters. It'll be great. And we'll go from there with that. So, no, that's where that is. And everything is pending here, right? I looked at the docket here for everything for these nominees. Everything is pending. Things haven't been scheduled yet. It's just one of those things. And what other news do we have? Senator Gabbard, right? Senate committee advances Gabbard's nomination for Director of National Intelligence. It's from the Epoch Times. The confirmation will now advance to the Senate floor. The Senate Select, and this was updated today, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence approved former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard's bid to become the next Director of National Intelligence. A 9-8 closed-door vote means that Gabbard's nomination will head for the Senate floor for a full vote, where she is likely to be confirmed as President Trump's intelligence director. With that, and people are coming forward and against it, and it's always the same thing. With that, as usual, we give no opinion, at least on the first hour of Safety Wars. However, later this week, we will be giving opinions. We're doing a deep dive on some stuff later on this week. Again, on hour 2. All right. U.S. Agency for International Development. Been in the news a lot. But, they took the website offline. We know that. Number one. Number two is that was essentially shut down and is going to be transferred over to probably another organization within the government to fulfill the statutory rules, if there are any with that. So this is from the USA Today. On his first day in office, President Trump implemented a 90-day freeze on foreign assistance. And apparently this is what the U.S. Agency for International Development, right, under the moniker USAID, right? No, it's basically they were put on. They're put on notice. Everything's like dismantled or in the process of being dismantled there. It's been called a criminal organization by Elon Musk. I know there were a lot of commentary on there that basically agencies that you don't know and you don't want to know use this group to do so not so nice things. So if you are in a Star Trek fan, they're along the lines of Section 31. If you're not a Star Trek fan, we'll just say they're an agency you don't know, you don't want to know. The kind of stuff that they're accused of doing. Basically legalized money laundering is what it's been called. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it's been called with that. We'll see where that goes on there. But again, I'll dress this up a little bit more, right? I'll dress this up a little bit more here. Maybe a nice printout, right? This is what it is. They give away $1 million. That's 15.7 man years in work. You give out $1 billion, right? It's 15,701 man years, right? This is what we're looking at. But no, someone's gonna right with that. Money's just thrown around. Thrown that money around. Right? And stuff that really matters, like worker protection, that's, okay. With that, there's articles all over. We'll be hearing more as we go along. So that's all that I have for tonight. We're going to be, all right, we're going to be wrapping it up here. We'll put on some music. Last night on the video end, it didn't play. It did play on the live end on Safety FM. All of our outros and everything else. I don't know. It's not a. I think the streaming platforms don't want to play this stuff for whatever reason. So if you just see the American flag come up, realize that we're playing the national anthem of the United States. And that's all I got for you folks here. For Safety Wars. This is Jim Posel.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
burning skies are crying. Smoke and ashes keep us sighing. Homes are gone, we can't believe. Silent whispers in the breeze. Winds are howling, fires fierce. Fear and worry, hearts are pierced. Families running nowhere to hide. Desperation on every side. Flames of Los Angeles lighting the night. Tears of sorrow in the fearsome fight. Lives are shattered, dreams ablaze. In the city's fiery haze, brave souls battle nature's wrath. Through the heat they clear a path. Heroes rise in the darkest hour, steadfast like an iron tower. Lifeline severed, hope runs thin. Amidst the smoke we're finding kin. Strength in numbers pushing through. Together we will see this through. Flames of Los Angeles lighting the night.